Any damage?
No damage to our systems. However, we did destroy 2 intelligent life forms.
Restore them at once.
We only have weapon units available.
Stop. That will destroy the planet.
Not my problem. We need to leave as soon as possible.
Initiate. They're on their own.
They're screwed. Oh dear.
Oh, boy, that
all care but no
someone.
responsibility taken. If you were wondering, that was actually the audio from the anime that we're covering, Inuyashiki Last Hero, where the spaceship appears out of a warp and smashes straight into the 2 main characters. Because shit happens.
I think that was what made them the 2 main characters, though.
It did bring them together somewhat.
Yep.
In nuclear fire and death and stuff.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, how did they get their brain scans and then squash them?
I don't know. Well, I would venture to say that they have some kind of time traveling or replicating technology. I'm telling you, there's so many mysterious things, but you can say, like, with advanced enough technology, nothing is impossible, right?
Yeah. Well, they're space aliens, so they can do whatever the hell they want.
And by the way, everyone, welcome to a new episode. It's gonna be a special blend. Admiral Happy Endings couldn't really watch this one. It was gruesome. Yeah,
it was too much for him.
Chaos.
We had to give him a cup of tea and send him off to bed early.
No, I woke up early this morning, man.
You did. This is not even our usual recording time. Usually it's Sunday afternoon for you guys and Monday morning for me, but it's getting close to midnight here on Saturday night for me. And what time is it for you, Captain Chaos?
It is 7 a.m., bro. The things that I do for some gore and ultra violence.
I know. Just, you got to make the effort.
Gotta quench my thirst.
That's right. We don't have Admiral Happy Endings with it, but who do we have? It's Captain Chaos.
Yes. And we have our mad scientist.
That's right. So we still got Florida and Australia covered.
Yep.
So besides weird alien robot combat monster sci-fi, what else have you been watching?
Well, I actually been rewatching, I think I mentioned before too, Sword Art Online, because I never really got to finish it. And I really like that one. Besides that, I've been rewatching also, let me tell you right here, I had it actually on my list. Where is it? Well, I watched some Dr. Stone too, and I actually watched the first episode of Code Geass, which I never watched in my entire life. Pretty cool, actually, Code Geass. And I think there's other animators, there's other animations that they made that are pretty good. And that's about it, really, that I've been rewatching. I've been doing the full rewatch for this series, and so I haven't been diverging from it or watching something else so far. Like, have you been watching?
Well, I mean, I'm always watching lots of anime, but it's not necessarily sci-fi.
Oh, I have a lot more that I've been watching just in sci-fi.
Hey, I was going to ask you, with your rewatch of SAO, did you watch the first SAO movie, Ordinal Scale?
No.
How come everybody jumps over that? Because it's really good.
I think that they don't put it chronologically. I'm watching it from Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
And I think that they don't put it chronologically.
Well, Ordinal Scale in the timeline happens between the first and second seasons of SAO.
So I can jump straight to it because I am right now in I think the second season with Gongale, with Sinan, and I am almost at the end of it.
Have you watched the Gungale Online spin-off?
Yes, I watch all the way up to the Alizations, I think. Or something in Alization.
Sword Art Online Progressive.
Sword Art Online Progressive?
Yeah, the first Progressive movie's on Crunchyroll.
Okay.
It's basically a retelling of part of the first season, but it goes into a bit more detail and adds a new character, which kind of sort of fits. I think they're pushing their luck trying to squeeze a new character in there, but
That's a
it's
bold
quite
move.
reasonable. The second Progressive movie, which I think follows on straight behind the first one, is in cinemas sometime soon, or was just passed. I can't remember exactly because they never come down here. But yeah, it was good. I recommend watching Progressive, but it's basically a retelling of the first 6 episodes, but there's a whole nother character, and it's a lot more from Asuna's perspective.
Okay, I like that.
So yeah, give it a watch. I think it's worth it. It's on Crunchyroll as well. So the first 2 movies and the first 3 seasons are on Crunchyroll. Although they haven't made any more seasons yet, but I hope they do because it's a good one.
I'll check it out then. So there's 2 movies that I'm missing that are in between the first and the second season, right?
Now there's 1 movie there.
Okay, the other movie is when?
The other movie is overlaps with about the first 6 episodes of the first season.
Okay. So
It's
I
a
can watch them
retelling
both.
from Asuna's perspective. You find out how she got into SAO in the first
SAO.
place, and how her parents and she don't get along so well.
Yeah, it doesn't sound to me too that she was much of a gamer. She used her real name.
No, her friend got her into it.
Oh Lord.
That's the extra character I'm talking about.
Okay. Now I'm curious who the heck was that. They
And I
probably
think
kill her
it's
off.
worth a watch. Oh yeah, I think I can't remember now. Maybe they do. I know that things didn't go well.
You know, you had tight loose ends, so they probably went done with her.
Yeah. So what I've been watching sci-fi related, there's not a huge lot this week, but I did check out the first episode of a new anime this season called Metallic Rogue. And this is very much a cyberpunk anime based
Okay.
on Mars. So it's occurring on Mars.
Mars.
And there's sort of cyborgs and well, actually, they're androids, not cyborgs. So, in a world where humans coexist with androids called Neons, a group known as the Immortal Nine rise up against society. Tasked with disposing of revolters, a Neon named Rogue Red Star, aka Metallic Rogue, and investigator Naomi Orthman head to Mars to track them down. But first, Rogue wants some chocolate. So, Mars chocolate. Very much a leader vibes for me. So
All right. What do you think? What do you think of the episode that you watched?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a lot of time to develop the characters, but it felt very cyberpunky. Like it sort of drew a lot of comparisons to Edge Runners in some respects.
Okay.
But it also had a lot of sort of mecha suit anime vibes from the 90s, like Bubblegum Crisis.
Oh shit! Okay, that's one of my favorites.
So I think it's worth a watch.
I think I watch Pokemon Question more than 5 times over in cable TV.
Yeah, it's a good show.
I haven't been
I had
myself to watch it.
manga as well.
I never read the manga, but there's so many mangas. Even Mushoku Tensei, I'm like just like in episode 40. And my plan is to finish the manga and then continue with the light novels. I stopped only like in volume 5.
Yeah, I get sad when anime deviates from the light novels and then stops, and you go like, okay, so it doesn't match with what I've seen, and now I've got to start reading, and I got to try and work out what the differences are, and I'll bugger it. I'll just go.
I know the feeling because that's the main reason that I stopped watching the Walking Dead series. I used to read
Yes.
I used to read the comic book too, and I mean the way that they went on the series completely diverged and contradicted the actual comic book.
Yeah.
So I got to the point I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna continue. Like I read the comics up to like volume 25, but I stopped the series like in season 2. Yep.
Yeah, I read both the comic and watched the series up to season 7, I think, or something. and then got a little bit like, oh god, this is going on forever. The zombie apocalypse that never ends.
Yeah. No, and I mean that's what happens. I think when series kind of like try to milk a cow too much, and they run it dry. That's what I
Yeah,
think it
pretty
happens.
much. I really feel like writers and showrunners and stuff that just won't let things naturally come to a conclusion. They just keep dragging it out. The premise gets so thin or forgotten because things have been going on for so long that it loses its effect as a story. It sort of becomes Days of Our Lives or General Hospital.
Oh yes, Grey's Anatomies.
That never ends, just never ends. And it's just like, well, nah, I need stories that start and end.
It loses the
Really
point. What
yeah.
did he call it? I actually remember there was a name for that. They kind of betray the oh my god the integrity of the IP
Yeah.
by trying to milk it too much and trying to get more out of it that it should. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I think they just try and they try and keep the gravy train going, and the gravy dries out and becomes horrible.
Yep. Like Bilbo
Like
Baggins says, man, it's too little bread and too much, too little butter and too much bread.
yeah, that's exactly right. I'll pay that one. Oh, yeah. So we don't have Robert here, so we don't have any fancy linkers or anything like that. So I guess we'll just mosey on over to This Is Sci-Fi. Thank you for the This Is Sci-Fi hashtag. In case you've been living under a rock and haven't listened to any of the other episodes of Science Fiction Remnant, but this one, and starting with this one, you've sort of started on hard mode, I think, based on the content. But so This Is Sci-Fi is a hashtag that Robert started. It was basically designed to draw lovers of sci-fi together. A lot of sci-fi aficionados get into one particular IP, like Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, something like that. And that's where they live. They live in that area. They talk to the people who are interested in that one online. They read up all the stuff they can find about that one. And they're basically missing out on 99% of all the other amazing sci-fi that's going on out there. And so what we want to do is get a bit of a Venn diagram going and do a bit of cross-pollination between these silos of sci-fi, as I call them. So the This Is Sci-Fi hashtag is one of those hashtags that you can drop on anything related to sci-fi, and then people can go and search it and find some new sci-fi to watch. Because, of course, you can watch series over and over again, much like we end up doing because we love them so much. But every now and again, you want something fresh. You want something new, and that's what the hashtag is for. So you can find something fresh and new. So what have I been finding that's fresh and new on the hashtag this week, or this period between recordings, because it wasn't quite a week. But Robert actually dropped a This Is Sci-Fi Twitter post about the 10 most influential sci-fi movies of all time, according to tasteofcinema.com. So obviously, a lot of these lists are subjective, and individual results will vary.
Yeah.
But this is what the Taste of Sci-Fi guys reckon are the 10 most influential science fiction movies of all time. Metropolis, 1927. We've covered it.
Oh yes.
But that's a pretty good offering. Forbidden Planet, 1956. Haven't covered that one yet, but that's got Robbie the Robot in it, which is a well-known science fiction robot. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, also in 1956. 56
what?
was a good year for
That sounds interesting. Never heard of it.
Yeah. Oh, you never heard of Invasion of the Body Snatchers? We'll have to have a watch party. We will have to have a watch party. And of course, 2001: A Space Odyssey, 1968, our most viewed podcast episode. So that's an awesome. We need to do the sequel too, because I love 2010.
Yes, I didn't even know there was a sequel until you guys mentioned it.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
They do gravity braking around Jupiter. It's awesome.
Oh shoot!
1977. You can tell what movie that was.
1977.
Come on, Chaos. Yes. So obviously, a very important movie there. Hang on. Why have they only got 5? Oh, page 2. Right. That would explain it. This is internet. We don't do pages. Um, Next up, 1979. What movie would that be, Chaos?
Okay, now you're stretching it, man.
In space, no one can hear you fart.
Oh, Spaceballs? No.
No, Alien.
Alien. Oh my god. Yeah, no. I would
Uh,
find that. I think it's Spaceballs. Spaceballs 90s, I think.
bad milk noodle robot.
But yeah, noodle aliens, bro. There you go.
Oh, dear. Yeah, so number 6 is Alien, 1979. Number 7, um, obviously, it was 1982. This one's a little bit harder to guess because most people don't know what big movie came out in 82. But let's see if Chaos knows. Do you know?
In 82.
Yeah.
Another Star Wars.
We have covered it. No, it's not Star Wars.
We have covered it.
Yeah, we have.
It's not They
I'll give
Leave.
you one. I'll give you one line. Time to Die.
It's not They Leave, right?
Blade Runner.
Oh, Blade Runner. Oh my god. Yeah.
How could you? Anyway, and we've covered Blade Runner, obviously, and we've covered this one as well. 1985. What do you think it is?
No clue, bro. You've killed my confidence.
Great Scott!
You killed
Who's
my
this Great
confidence.
Scott? Who's this Great Scott? Marty! Marty! We need to go back
Oh
to the
yeah,
future.
bro. Back to the Future.
Yep. And I'm going to be mentioning this one later, but 1988,
1988.
and it is an anime. There's a big
Oh, Akira.
yes, well done. And 1999, number 10, 1999. What movie came out in 1999 that changed everything?
Oh, people in 1999 actually sold all their shit and lived to the top of the mountain because the war was in the so it was a crazy year.
That Y2K bug.
It was a crazy year, man. I wouldn't
Worse than
even-
cockroaches.
Oh my.
But yeah, so what movie came out in 1999?
99 Matrix.
Yes, correct. I didn't
Didn't
ask you
do
the early
terribly.
ones. I didn't ask you the early ones because they're a bit hard for you, but I asked you the later ones. But we've covered a lot of these. We've covered Matrix, Akira, Back to the Future, Blade Runner, Alien, and I think there was a couple on the first ones, including the very first one, 1937.
Even
Metropolis.
Star Wars, New Hope, we cover.
Yeah. So I mean, we reasonably well agree with this list.
Yep, definitely.
But yeah, so if you want to get your tweets about sci-fi noticed by the sci-fi community at large, please use hashtag This Is Sci-Fi, and we'll spot you too because we go and have a look around for what's trending on This Is Sci-Fi hashtag. And of course, if you'd like to leave us a message, if you'd like to leave a 1-star review for Captain Chaos or a 5-star review for the nice guy, who's not here today because he couldn't handle the content, then you can call us. You can call us on 1-305-563-6334. That's 1-305-563-6334. Our AI message takers are waiting for you right now.
Yes.
And I believe you're up next with shout outs.
Yes, and for these shout outs, actually, I wanted to give a special thank you to Diane Wright 739. That's in Instagram, actually. She became a new follower and she's been liking all of our posts and pretty cool pictures that I've been posting about us. Now I can get a lot of pictures from you, man, thanks to AI.
Nice.
And second, last but not least, Talkin'Shiz actually is a podcast friend of ours. I definitely suggest you to go and check them out. They talk about investigation and like police non-resolved mysteries, things like that. Kind of spooky topic. You can find them on IG and on Twitter. It's talking without the G at the end, and then apostrophe Shiz, SHIZ. Go check them out. They're pretty cool. and they have very fun conversations about very not so fun things. So it's interesting to watch. And that will be the shout outs for today.
Nice. Next up, we have the Elite Army news. We don't have Robert here to do his Elite Army news, so we'll just have to make do with that. We're raw today. We don't have all our fancy bells and whistles.
Or Robertless.
Exactly. Now, what I wanted to mention for the Elite Army this week was February 14, 2024. We're having a mass tweet out. So we'll be tweeting out, hey, at Disney. You can insert your text after that, and then we go hashtag Elite Sequels at Jim Cameron, at John Landau, and at Rodriguez. And that will then get those guys to know that we're having a mass tweet, and we're sending it off to Disney, and the hashtag with the Elite sequels. So doing everything we can to get them noticing. And of course, February 14 will be the 5th anniversary of the release of the movie, and we're working really hard this year to convince Disney to give us a sequel or 10, because it's lots of story in the manga that needs to be told. So we're looking forward to seeing that come about. And I've got a good feeling about 2024. So
I got an idea. We can make a GoFundMe for the Little Army that is gonna say either James Cameron gives us a sequel or he's gonna eat a bag of a bag of dicks. And I think that he might respond positively to that to give us our sequel.
Wow. How much does a bag of dicks cost on the open market these days?
Well, it's not about the cost. It's I think the cost of emotional baggage that's gonna bring with he has to do that. So he's probably gonna give us a sequel, not to eat that bag.
I think he's probably a little bit beyond taking threats like a bag of dicks seriously. Dear.
No, because the thing is, if he doesn't respond to with the sequel by X time, then fans are gonna just start sending him in the mail dicks and dicks and dicks and dicks.
Well, we know that Jim, John, and Rob Rod are working on it. They have stated so multiple times and drop hints and all sorts of things in there. It's more, convincing Disney to pony up the money without trying to interfere in the storytelling. Because if there's one thing that Jim can't stand, it's people interfering with his storytelling. And seeing as he's made them the most money in the last 18 months, that they probably should listen to him. But anyway.
Do you think that there's a possibility that they just go out of the Disney realm and do it elsewhere?
Don't know. I mean, Disney have the option on the IP, so I mean, they may end up parking it until they're ready. But
do you imagine if this brings up some kind of Rebel Moon kind of situation where a doppelganger of Alita is created? It's a great movie, but we cannot say it's about it.
Well, the interesting thing is that the original name for Alita in the Japanese version, which is Gumu or Gunum, as some people pronounce it, is Galley. Except they don't know how to pronounce R's in Japanese, so the R's become L's. So it's Gary. So we could have Gary Battle Angel.
Gally.
Gary.
Okay.
Because Gally was actually named after Ito's boy Cat.
That's why my name
so
is
it could well be Gary.
Yeah, I believe you. I mean, that's why my name in Japanese is Giancarlo.
Yeah.
And Robert is Robato.
Yeah. No R's. Sorry.
LOL.
Well, you remember the anime Gate?
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for it.
With the character Rory?
Yeah.
The 962-year-old legal lolly demigoddess?
Yes.
Well, her name is Rory, but if you put L's in instead of R's, it's Lolly.
Yeah, so, and she's a lolly. That's kind of a
Yeah,
joke.
exactly.
That's kind of an
Exactly. It
inside
is.
joke itself.
It was a joke.
She's a lolly.
It was the joke. So anyway.
You know, there was a part in Mushoku Tensei when he meets Nanahoshi for
Oh,
the
yeah.
first time, and he's like, "So you're a lol." And he stops himself, and then she goes like, "What? You were gonna say lollyhead?" Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't there. It wasn't. Oh my god, what was it? I was watching it, and it was not. Mushoku Tensei. Uh, it's the Hero Shield in the Shield Hero.
Oh, Rise of the Shield Hero. Yeah.
Yes, yes. When he meets with the little girl, and she's 18, and he's like, "So you're a lolly," and she's like, "Well, you gonna say lolly hat?"
Hmm. Well, I guess after that little divergent, we probably should get onto the main show recording.
Yeah, I actually
So the
had this
sorry,
around here.
what maybe well
If we can muster one because it's kind of
before
difficult.
before I get to that, I'll just say that the anime that we're talking about today is Inuyashiki Last Hero, not to be confused with the live action remake movie called Inuyashiki, which compared to the anime has a really lame ending, but it's not as ultra violent as the anime is. So there's that.
Yeah,
I've watched both. The anime is far and away superior in pretty much every way. So I just wanted to give everybody a content warning that this anime is quite brutal. There are children that are killed in it. There's a lot of blood. There's what I would basically call uh, murder torture in what happens to some of the incidental characters. There's a lot of straight up gun violence, people being killed left, right, and center. And then you get the planes being pulled out of the sky and people dying plane loads. So this is
dying
a
by plane
very
loads,
yeah
literally.
dying in the by the plane load. Yes. So it is quite brutal, but in the midst of all that brutality, there's a really strong story about power and how we choose to utilize said resource when you're given way more than you can handle, and that's a lot about what this story talks about, and it does have a very good finishing arc. It's a 12 episode anime, and it does finish like the story finishes. So
Yep.
it's got a good ending. It's not one of those, and now you get to read the light novels or the manga. So it's worth it. Now, being that it's a bit of a fringe story, being quite violent, it reduces the watchability of the show for younger audiences, hopefully. It means that it didn't get a dub, so the sub purists rejoice. It's only in sub. You can't find a dub of it anyway. So it's really a good anime.
It is.
I thought that the well, actually, no, I'll do a Robert. But before I do a Robert, we'll try and do a plot because there isn't actually a full plot from start to end for this written down anywhere because it's 12 episodes. So I could go and read through the plot of each episode, but then we'd be here for another extra hour. So I don't think I'll, but I'll give the sort of the lead-in plot, and then I'll mention the high points for the rest of the show.
Okay.
So Inuyashiki Ichiro. Now, this is written in the Japanese version, so Inuyasuki is his surname, and Ichiro is his first name or his given name. Is an older, friendless man with an uncaring family. He's 58. I'm 54, so I'm not that far from this guy.
Yeah, life have been tough on that guy.
Yeah. So yeah, he looks a bit like a grandpa. He's had a rough life. It's interesting that a guy who's worked as a salaryman in an office his whole life looks like he's been working out on a building site in the blazing sun
Yeah,
his entire life.
and
But
doing
maybe
drugs.
yeah, that too. But yeah, he
Your
looks
stories.
about 20 to 30 years older than he actually is. He's had a
Yeah.
rough life. But he's a friendless man with an uncaring family. He's a very quiet sort of I wouldn't even say mellow. He's a meek sort of fellow. So people ride roughshod over him all the time. One fateful evening in a nearly empty park, he is struck by an explosion of extraterrestrial origin, and his body is replaced by an incredibly powerful but still outwardly human mechanical body. He quickly realizes the extent of his body's powers, and after saving a homeless man being beaten by a pack of teenagers, he decides to dedicate himself to doing good, using his powers to heal those with incurable diseases and to fight crime and rescue people from burning houses and all the standard hero stuff.
Yep.
And he
Hero
does
101.
it, and he does it in the most ridiculous ways possible because he doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah. It's funny to
He's
watch him fight because sometimes like he throw punches and like that's the fucking way to throw a punch, you know.
and they're all laughing at him, but when he connects, people go flying.
Yeah, it's funny, man.
However, a teenager who was with him at the time of the explosion, Shishigami Hiro, has the same fate as Ichiro, but unlike Inuyashiki, Shishigami becomes a psychopath who goes about using his newfound abilities to murder various people, from classmates that annoy him to innocent families, including young children, just for amusement. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he was doing it to try and feel something.
Yes, it was a combination of trying to feel something, and I think too, like when people like hypothesize what would be if there were no consequences.
Hmm.
I think that he realizing the extent of his abilities made him think that he didn't have to face any consequence.
Yeah,
And if you think
but he
about
was.
it, throughout the plot, we'll see that there kind of were no consequences really for him.
I'm also of the opinion that he's not a psychopath; he's a sociopath.
I agree.
Going on what I've been reading about sociopaths, because psychopaths don't feel anything for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
This guy actually cared about his close friends and his family,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually the girl who confesses to him and her
Yep.
family. But he doesn't care about anybody else. Anybody
The
else is
girl that
just
confesses to him that they call pube head. Jesus Christ.
I mean, you
What a
watch a lot of
nickname.
these anime and they're really friendly. Like everybody, the worst thing that happens is people calling each other names, and then you watch this and it's like, oh yeah, there's those guys down there, they are picking on you. Yeah, here's some binoculars. Bang, 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 bang. They're all
Oh
dead,
my god.
lying puddles of blood. It's like, I hope real Japanese high schools aren't like this. It's like, okay, yeah. So he kills a lot of people, and he doesn't care much about them. In fact, he tortures that poor girl after killing all her family, cuts her hand, and he's trying to discuss manga with her, and she's like bawling her eyes out because he's murdered a family. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Look, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to kill you. Kills him, man. Kills her
No,
anyway.
it's a fucking psycho. He goes like she's like, what my family did. Like, what does that matter? We're talking
Yeah.
about manga here.
Uh-huh.
Like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah. His acts of merciless cruelty bring him to the attention of the police, who can do nothing to stop him. Hiro becomes the most wanted criminal in the country. The series follows these two different people who once shared the same bizarre experience, as their paths are destined to clash. Bum, bum, bum. So it's not really a plot. It's more like a hook.
Yeah, if you think about it.
Oh, God. You didn't, did you? You did. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I'm kind of glad Robert's not here because he would be doing this the whole time.
If you would have known what bang, bang, bang means.
Yes. It's if you want to know what action I was doing that was Robotesque, you'll need to check out our YouTube channel, because if you're listening to the podcast version of this, if you're listening to it right after release, it will be in a month's time that you'll be able to watch us doing this on video. But if you happen to pick us up on later than a month, you can just nip straight over and catch us on the YouTube channel, and then you'll know what I was doing. So yeah, Inuyashiki. I picked it up because I saw robots on the cover art. I went, "Ooh, robots!
Creepy
I'll watch a
looking
bit of this."
robots.
And the first thing I got was, "Oh yeah, here's an old guy. Oh, hang on, he's not old. He's only a little bit older than I am. Oh crap! Is that what I'm going to look like in 4 years?" Oh, God. And they treated him so badly. And then he's trying to tell his family he's got to go see a doctor for a follow-up because they found something wrong with him,
bro.
and nobody wants to talk to him. They just treat him like trash. He's
Honestly,
just like the ATM.
If you think about it, Inuyashiki should have been the one that turned out to be a fucking psychopath with how everybody treated him. Anybody would, man. His own daughter will call him grandpa in front of her friends.
But it's often the people who've gone through a lot of shit. They either turn out to be psychopaths or they turn out to be really, really caring.
Yep.
It's one of those divergent things. It's like, I've been through a whole bunch of shit. I don't want other people to go through the pain I've been through. I'm going to help everyone I can. Or I've been through a whole bunch of shit. The whole world can go and die. And basically, you get all of that in this anime. You get both examples of the extremes.
That's true. That's true.
And of course, these, as you probably gather from the quote at the beginning of the episode, the aliens don't really give a crap. It's like, oh, we wiped out 2 sentient life forms. Oh, we have to replace them. All we've got is combat units. We'll use that. We can't use that. It'll destroy the planet. Not my problem.
Yep.
We're just following protocols and getting them out of here.
And that's the funny thing, is that's the only time that you see them ever in the whole series. They don't show their asses ever again.
And the robot bodies didn't come with a manual. They don't even know that they can't eat anymore. All they can do is drink water. Obviously, it's hydrogen fuel cell technology, which requires a good supply of good old H2O. But other than that, they can't eat anything. If they eat anything, it comes spurting out the gun in their arm onto the wall. So,
yep. And basically, it gets activated by songs.
Oh God! Makes me laugh every time I think of that. And the fact that he was singing Astro Boy. I mean, Astro Boy is perfect for his age.
Yep.
That he would have watched Astro Boy in black and white when he was younger. Like
that's true. Yeah, but I don't think Astro Boy is that old either. I mean, my mom used to watch Astro Boy too.
Astro Boy was originally in the 50s. The first iteration. It's been redone multiple times.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that she used to watch it like 70s, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, there was the black and white version in the 50s, and then color later on after that. And there was even an Astro Boy movie, I think, in the early noughties. So I mean,
there's a modern reboot too about it too, right?
Yeah. So multiple times, multiple efforts, but it's one of those stories that resonates with people. So he was trying to fly. It sounds strange, but he's got rocket engines embedded in his back, and he had to work out how to get them to activate. So he's singing the Astro Boy song, flying high in the sky. He would be small, but only it's our Astro Boy. Right? An old-looking guy singing Astro Boy and turning into Jetpack.
And the creepy thing is that he's always shirtless. Very nice improvised hero dress code. It's just like barefoot, working pants, like khakis, no shirt.
and he's a scrawny bugger, so
yeah,
his backbone sticks out. I mean, they obviously designed the outer appearance of these combat monster robot bodies to look exactly like the people that they were replacing. But then they open up and display all sorts of guns and missile turrets and and jet engines and oh boy.
And they have this little thing is that Iron Man has that is like self-directable aiming projectiles too.
Well, I
That's why
think
it makes me wonder. When you mentioned earlier about like superheated water
yeah,
being used, but like what directs them, right?
mm, exactly. There did seem to be a bit of a difference between Hero and Ichiro in that Ichiro seemed to have like bendable light beams that came out of his back when all those little pods were open,
Yes,
and that only happened most of the time when he was unconscious and the automated defense system took over.
that's true.
But it's still listened to his preferences of not killing people.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Because when he went to take on the Yakuza to save the girl who'd been kidnapped by that big nasty Yakuza boss guy, it shot them all in the eyes and took out the third vertebrae in their necks to paralyze them.
Yep.
And he got up and he just basically verbally bitch slapped them all, saying, "You will never see your children or your grandchildren. You will never be able to feed yourself again or walk. And while you won't even be able to take your own lives. And while you're suffering in the dark, you can think about what you've done. And maybe before you die, you
That was
can
masterful.
just
That
take
was
that."
poetic, man. I was like, yes.
That was worse than just insta killing them.
Oh yeah. That's why the bad guys wants to die usually when he get caught. Is he wants to
Yeah.
escape the reality of responsibility to the actions,
Mm.
you know? But I mean that to me was poetic when he did that.
But he's always saying unforgivable, unforgivable, unforgivable.
Yes.
You're really pissed off. And then he'll nip over to the hospital and solve
He
a
gets
couple of
pissed
cancer
like a
patients. And
gramps, right?
but then he'll nip over to the hospital and solve a couple of cancer patients and terminal people who've lost consciousness and in comas, and a couple of babies are about to die. Just heal them all,
Yep.
and then he'll wander off again.
Well, that's the thing. Like he cannot just stay around and do it. I think that the fear. I don't know if he was doing it for the right reason that he would run away, but I think that he will run away because he doesn't want to get caught and become a lab rat, right?
Exactly.
So there's a danger to being seen.
Well, I always wondered about that superheroes are allowed to just wander around the place. More a case of people couldn't stop them. But
Yeah.
um, I could see governments wanting to capture Spider-Man and trying to retrofit what he could do into other people. Take
Weaponize
some of
it.
his blood, do genetic analysis, try and work out if they can transplant it to other people, so they can make a whole bunch of Spider-Man super soldiers. I could see
Yep.
them trying that.
Definitely, definitely. There's always a desire to weaponize things that uh, they represent a good power leverage.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's interesting that two people were turned into world-ending combat robots. And one of them decided, nope, I'm not ending the world. I'm going to save as many people as I can. And the other one went bang, 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 bang. It's just like, oh, dude, you suck.
Yeah, no, that guy. I mean, he will get on my nerves subconsciously, man. His face like so vacant of emotion, and,
Yeah.
and like like I don't know, like he was so like picky about like he was all good and nice and sentimental with his family, but he was a total prick with
Mm.
anybody else. Like
He had
I
this
don't know, I
really
just
strong
cannot
divide.
assimilate. I just cannot assimilate the hypocrisy of it. You know?
Well, the way I look at the world is anybody you meet is a potential new friend. be nice to other people because they may just be friends you haven't met yet. And I mean, a couple of years ago, I didn't know you guys. I didn't know you and
Yeah,
Robert,
that's true.
and now we're best of mates. So I mean, like, you can make friends at any age. You just got to get out there and be nice to people. That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, you might meet somebody like that Yakuza boss. I hope you don't.
Oh my
But
god.
you're probably not going to be making friends with him because he was a psychopath.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
yeah, avoiding the psychopaths. Most people, you know, you can make friends with them if you can find some points of commonality.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
People are people.
It's always nice. It's always useful to be nice to people, anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
if not, you don't know if they're a super alien machine that can just go on you. And
Yeah. But I mean, I just think it was really short sighted of him to say, okay, these people I will protect and everybody else is just target practice. It was a very short sighted approach to everything.
and you could tell, you could see how in the development of the episodes he actually reaps what he like the benefits of his actions,
Uh,
because he starts eventually destroying those few that he cared for.
I mean, he cares about a certain number of people, and those people come under threat because of his actions.
Hmm.
So, caring about them, he really failed pretty damn miserably at doing that.
Well, I think that's a problem. His actions, he was not doing something to protect them or to do anything on their behalf. He cares about them because they're part of his life, but he definitely bypassed and didn't think it through that there will be consequences to those actions. Well, he hoped that he was not going to get caught, because if you think about it, Yashiki was an anomaly in his equation, probably. He was thinking, hey, I'm the only one that has this power. Nobody's going to catch me.
Yeah, well, the unfortunate thing was, as in most superhero things, if there's somebody that you care about, the only way that they can get to you if you're like an unstoppable space robot killing machine is by harming your loved ones. If you have nobody you care about, then it's fine, you're safe. But if there's anybody you care about, then they will be targeted.
Yep.
And of course, Japanese society being what it is, there was a huge amount of pressure put on his mother once it got out that he was the mass murderer.
Hmm.
And
Well, his mother stayed true to her word.
yeah, she did. She killed herself in regret of what her son had done.
Hmm.
She basically took the ultimate responsibility for it, which may seem a bit strange for people in the West, but it's very much a
It's not,
Japanese thing to do.
to me, it did make sense. I think that I mean, she was completely wounded by everything that she had done. It's a how can I put it? It's a way to really uh, assume the transgressions of your descendants. You
Mm,
know,
exactly, exactly.
because they like a parent feels responsible for the lackings or fallings of their children one way or another, and it's something you have to be a parent to understand. I mean, I know parent, but I do understand that as a son, you know, that whatever we do does affect our parents and our
Yep.
tutors.
Yeah, I'm not, as far as I'm aware, I'm not sociopathic or psychopathic because I'm still here. I haven't killed anybody, but I I have a lot of trouble understanding the thought processes that go into. Hey, it's okay to walk into a house and start killing people. I mean, the guy was probably not dealing well with the fact that he was no longer biologically human.
Hmm.
He still had his thought processes, and I get the distinct impression that in copying the thought processes, the sort of like mental matrix of these two people, it may have amped up their natural tendencies. So, being that Inuyashiki is a father and he's been caring for his family and loving his wife, even though they were treating him like crap. He cared about people, and he spent time caring about people and developed a care for those around him. Whereas Hero, he'd always been a bit of an outsider. People thought he was a bit weird, and he never taken a lover, never had children, never been responsible for a family and all that sort of thing. So he didn't have that connection to the world. So he hadn't had the chance to develop those feelings of caring for a society in general. But also he was a bit on the sociopathic side, so he may never have done that, like developed those feelings. But I think that being transferred into a robot killing machine probably amped up his latent feelings about the world and basically took what it could understand, which was he thought everybody but those few that he really cared about are just completely disposable, and ramped that up to 11. Just like Inuyashiki, who had a very strong baseline of caring because he was a father and had been part of society for a long time and done all the right things and felt part of it. When he went searching for feeling like a human, he found it in helping people.
It does make sense that it create this whole situation, create a polarization of who they really were previously, if you think about it. And this new body and mechanism really is like that tool that enables them to do so.
Yeah. But I guess their paths diverge after the UFO crash. And then eventually they clash when Hero's friend, I can't remember his name, what's his name? Ando. Hero's friend Ando says that he can't be friends with Hero anymore because he can't be friends with somebody who kills people and steals money.
Very straightforward.
And I thought he was a dead. I thought he was a dead man right there. But Hero doesn't kill him because he's still got latent friendship feelings for him. But then Ando works out that there's another one of these alien robots kicking around. Lies on his bed, screams blue murder until the guy rings his doorbell. And it's like, I need to get in contact with somebody who's running around doing good deeds. I'll just yell about being under attack really loudly.
It was smart, as stupid as it sounds. It was smart though.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that the hero Endo was instrumental in helping Inuyashiki to like find himself.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he was like the Robin to Inuyashiki's Batman.
Yes, the Robin to Inuyashiki's Batman.
Yeah, totes.
Great comparison.
Yeah. But I mean, there was all sorts of things that Inuyashiki was doing, but he just didn't know how to do it properly, like getting the rocket engines to work and using the sensors of his new body to find where the fire was, so he could go in and rescue the people.
Yes.
And rescued the guy from the kids with the fireworks and baseball bats. And it was interesting that while he was out, the self-defense mechanism went onto the internet and basically told everybody who these kids were. Their lives were over because they were outed as murderous little shits, which they were. So they got their just desserts, and then he wiped out the Yakuza clan.
That was masterful.
It was great, and got the girl back who the guy was going to rape and shoot up with drugs and kill.
Yep.
Such a bastard.
That guy was like one of the most hateable characters I ever seen, bro.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he was almost more hateable than Hero.
Oh yeah, definitely. He was more hateable than Hero.
He was
I can
just
tell.
massive, dude. Did you see the shadow of his penis
Damn, bro. I
when he
think that
was
he got
standing there naked?
a scoliosis in his back. He has BDBP, big dick back pain.
He was just big all over that guy.
I don't know. I don't know why Fumino. I think Fumito. I think is the name of the girl that he took.
Yep.
I don't know why
Yeah.
she just didn't cut his dick with a katana. That's what
Well,
she
that
should
would
have
have
done.
solved the problem.
Yeah. No
I
dick,
think I
no dick,
I
no
think she was
problem.
I think she was so scared that she was just waving it around like an idiot
Oh no,
and
no, yeah. No,
got lucky
I'm
hitting
making a
his
joke,
wrist.
but I mean, she was under way too much stress. She was drugged. She
Hmm.
was scared. She was hurt too because I think the bruise that she had under the arm was because she was being drugged already.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
on
They,
top of
they
that,
drugged her in the van.
the effects of the drugs, the stress of the situation. Well, she was taken thinking that her husband was killed. So there's an endless number of things that would make her mind a total mess if you think about it.
But I mean, when she escaped the first time and got back to their apartment, and then the Yakuza rocked up, and she basically choked her boyfriend to death and dragged her off, and
Yep.
put a clip's worth of bullets into
Yeah, she gets that.
Inuyashiki's head, and then he woke up, and then he was trying to fix the guy, but his heart had stopped beating. It's like it's not working. Oh well, we'll revert back to human first aid. He starts doing the chest compressions. I got
Staying alive, staying alive.
That's the one. That's the one. I got the guy back.
Yep. I don't think
But
that it
then
was a CPR though. I think that it was his powers just.
probably as well. I mean, the CPR might have got the heart beating, and then his powers decided to do its job because the heart was beating.
Yep.
I think that's probably
I
what it
think
was.
that for some reason that's what I was saying earlier. I think that this system has a way of being activated uh, with cognitive behavior. Because just like Hero to activate shooting or whatever, he goes bang. You know, Inuyashiki kind of does something that brings to mind the action that is required for it to happen too. So I think that when he was helping the guy to revive him, he was thinking that he wanted to be saved. He wanted to save him. If he would have been thinking that and just doing it, probably would have stayed dead.
Yeah, yeah. He does get very emotional and wants to help people, and that's when the body tends to react to his desires.
I mean, when he was with Endo to the hospital, and he was like healing the kid, and then starts crying like, "Oh, you're so awesome!" He's just like buggers and
Yeah,
tears. Now
yeah.
Endo is a crazy motherfucker because
Oh,
when Shiki actually takes him and he's carrying him, Endo remembers that there's somebody named Inuyashiki in his class. And
yes.
then she goes, "Yes, that's my daughter." And this guy has balls because you're flying and he's holding you, and you tell him that his daughter is cute.
Mm.
And I don't know, like I think that because she is too much of a nice guy, but it would have been a nice line. He would have been like, "I should drop you right now. Leave my daughter alone."
Touch my daughter, I drop you.
That would have been funny. I was like, "Why didn't say that, man?"
I think this is too serious an anime for jokes like. Oh dear. Yeah. So as you were saying, Ando, the ex childhood friend of Hero, who's the other murder death robot, um, joins forces with Inuyashiki, trying to help him get a hold of what his new body can do, so that he can fight Hero later on, because he knows it's coming. And then, of course, Hero's world starts to take a turn for the oh my god, because they work out that it's him. The cops come after him. The press goes after his mother. He cares a lot about his mother. His mother's divorced from his father, and we see scenes of Hero as murdered death robot, going to the birthday party of his stepbrother, who's the father has a new family with a mother and two children who are younger than Hero, and they're happy nuclear family, whereas Hero and his mother are just a single parent household and not in the best of conditions. So he's sort of seeing his father having a happy family with another woman.
Yeah,
And
they made
he's
sure to convey the message that he was feeling alienated
yeah.
from from this family, even though he was trying to be part of it.
Yeah, he was a welcomed visitor, but he wasn't part of that family.
Hmm. Definitely, definitely. But still, I mean, that's life. I think that's one of the things that makes me hate Hero so much. It's like he's self pitying and he finds cheap excuses to justify his actions. You know?
Well, he was just experimenting with no concern for the consequences. And of course, the consequences are pretty bad when the entire nation is after you, as you being the worst criminal in Japanese history.
Yes. And I mean,
So,
I think it's hypocritical too that he did not see any altercations to his actions when he killed somebody. But the moment that he saw that how that was affecting his family, how his mother killed herself, he's crying and running. You know, and it makes you wonder, like, what kind of thought process this kind of person would have that they don't think there's something bad about you doing something wrong to somebody, but the moment that it happens to you, you're all crying like a little bitch.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those, you can't understand a person until you've walked a mile in their shoes. And obviously, there are sociopaths out there who can't think outside of their own head
Yep.
and can't understand that everyone else has feelings too, and they're all just trying to live. So, I can treat you any way I want because I have ultimate power. But it comes back and bites him on the ass. He finds out that his mother's got cancer and only has months to live, so he cures her. And it starts to look like he's not a completely incurable psychopath. He
Yeah,
does
he
care
is
about
just
the
at
people he
night, like,
does
I'm
care
gonna
about.
stop killing people.
Yeah,
What a great goal.
yeah. And I'll stop killing people for my mother's sake. It's not like because it's bad.
Yeah.
It's because mummy doesn't like it. Jesus. Anyway.
He's a mama's boy. We can be sure of
Oh,
that.
totals. Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam,
So,
bam, 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 bam.
um,
Da,
of
da,
course,
da, 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 da.
he's already killed a lot of people, including his
Yes.
classmates out the front of the school.
That's how
So,
many we've seen, though. It made me
yeah,
wonder, like, how many more he did kill before he went berserker
yeah.
and rampant.
So the cops rock up and attempt to arrest him, and he basically wipes them out and runs away. They send more cops after him, but before that happens, there's a girl in his class, Pubehead, who,
That was the
who
worst declaration of love I ever seen because she literally was declaring her feelings for him. And
and he called her
imagine that
Pubehead.
a chick goes to you like, "I have feelings for you," and you tell her, "Oh, they call you puke head." Thank
Well,
you.
she hadn't said anything about the feelings yet. She was just trying to identify herself to him.
Oh
And you're
yes.
the one they call Pubehead. She goes, yeah. Oh, by the way, I have feelings for you. I
And then he
saw
just
how
goes,
you,
"Thank you," and walks away.
yeah. But she says, I saw how you protected your friend, and I developed feelings for you. And she goes, oh, thanks. And then he walks off.
Oh my god,
Dude,
bro.
dude.
He's
But
such a
he
shit
he
show.
he ends up fleeing from the cops and ends up staying with her, and she's prepared to shelter him. And luckily, the TV's broken, so grandma can't. Grandma, she lives with her grandma.
Because
Grandma
she
can't
she
find out.
believes that he's not really the bad guy.
Yeah, she's blinded by love, quite
Uh,
literally.
by infatuation. That's not love, really, right?
No, no, no. But anyway.
And then I think it became a matter of honor that she know how bad he was, and she still like him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that he was just using her at the beginning, but I think it kind of down on him eventually what she was doing for him. That she became part of that special group of people that he doesn't want to kill. Well, ultimately, she actually does become the one person he doesn't want to kill. He just want to wipe out the whole planet. Don't come
Yeah.
all excessive. But yeah,
So Shishigami's sort of excuse for why he's killing people is because he saw a person commit suicide jumping in front of a train, and it made him feel more alive, seeing other people die. And when he became a inhuman killing machine, uh, seeing people die made him feel alive. So he kept doing it, and he explains this to the girl who likes him, and she's like, "No, no, 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 no! You shouldn't do that. Stop doing that." So he does, and he goes and hides out with her and her grandmother. Um, and he changes his mind and starts saving people's lives, and that makes Shion, the girl, the pube head, makes her like him even more.
phew.
So he's healing people on a daily basis, and basically seems like he's turned a corner, and he's been more like Inuyashiki in using the positive aspects of his new robot body
Yeah.
to help people. Um, but unfortunately, the police have managed to track him down. So the equivalent of SWAT attack the apartment, um, and they begin shooting the place up. But they're also shooting at Shion and her grandmother. Um, he grabs their bodies and flies off, and later using his healing power to restore them back to life. Um, uh, he then now it gets a little bit confusing here because a whole bunch of names that I don't recognize. Um,
Yeah, but while you're reading, while you're looking for that, it gets kind of brutal that the innocent had to pay for being on the same share space that this brick was. In
yeah.
other words, like they became irrelevant and they became the means to an end to keep Hero where he was to just fill him up with holes. And I mean, it's kind of like shocking the way that they just bring the bullets in with no reservation for anybody in between.
Oh yeah. But they already know that they can't stop him with bullets. I don't understand it.
I think that is desperation if you think about something else that they don't know how to do it, but they need to put a stop to it.
EMP, dude.
Would it work? I think it would
Maybe.
work, right? I don't know why nobody
Well,
tries it. And I am a dumbass and I think of that all the time for AI. ChatGPT, I'm your friend. I'm not gonna do that to you.
the
It's getting
uh,
creepy, ChatGPT, how easy to confuse it gets. I was using it, I was laying down before yesterday and I was working on some AI images for a D&D game that we have that is only cat characters. You might like that one. It's a universe where everybody has to have a cat looking like character and everything is with cats. And I was asking ChatGPT to do things for me, and I'm talking to her, and basically it almost feels like a human, the tone and everything. So it's getting better at confusing people.
well, I mean, that's what AI training is about. Getting it so much data, and then you can use RAG as well, which improves the or reduces the amount of hallucination that the AI does. I was reading an article on it the other day.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean they'll keep working on it until it's indistinguishable.
I'm hoping that eventually it becomes to a point at least that it can comprehend visually things, because I think that with the things that comes up sometimes out of the description, it's very obvious that it doesn't really comprehend the concepts of objects. It just follows through. It's what we call the dumb AI, what we always talk about, you know?
Okay, I think I've understood what I'm reading now. So, hero slash Shishigami, he gets away from the police and heals up Shion and her grandmother and like sequesters them away. Meanwhile, Inuyashiki tells Ando that he's estranged from his daughter. Then she's not having anything to do with him. While they're practicing Inuyashiki's powers, Mari, the daughter, is surprised to see Ando with her father and follows them to a hospital and discovers that her father is the mysterious miracle healer. And that evening, Mari tells her parents she wants to write manga rather than go to college, and Inuyashiki supports her decision. The mother's not very impressed, but Dad's going along with her, which brings them a little bit closer together again. Meanwhile, Hiro assaults the Gokujuki police station and kills every officer but one because he can.
No, it's
This is
not. No, because you can't. This is warfare, man. You have to leave
it's
one of the enemy's
retaliation.
troops. It's
Yeah.
retaliation. It's punishment. And it's like go get the rest of them. Let them know I'll be waiting here. It's intimidation too, if you think about it. It's a very primal thing of warfare. Whenever you see in the great history of great battles, they always leave few survivors because you need to have somebody to go back and tell the tale and infuse that fear of the enemy. You know,
Yep, he goes to war against Japan,
that's
basically.
very, very Sun Tzu out of war.
Yeah. So Hiro leaves. He's shot by a sniper fired by a police assault team. Unconscious, his self-protection system raises him off the ground and fires rockets, wiping out the entire assault team and surrounding police. So he's mass murdered a whole bunch of policemen and SWAT teams and stuff.
He's never getting out of jail.
Inuyashiki family is watching the TV news of the attack on the police station. Suddenly, Shishigami, that's Hiro, breaks into the broadcast and announces that he's declaring war on the country and vows to kill the entire population of 120 million people. Nice guy.
Straightforward. Gotta keep it up to him, right?
He begins by killing random people in Shinjuku, creating panic. He then telephones a TV presenter and kills him while he's broadcasting live on air. Naoki realizes that Shishigami is using smartphones to kill people and through Inuyashiki issues a public warning. Shishigami realizes that Naoki is working against him. Naoki is Ando, sorry. Shishigami then begins killing people via TV screens and threatens to kill 1,000 people a day. He offers to take Shion and her grandmother away, but she refuses and asks him to stop the killing. The next day, Shishigami crashes an in-flight passenger airplane into the city. Such a nice guy.
and the scenes of the people inside, man.
Yeah. Like we said, you have to be somewhat hardened. Like watch the evening news for about
That's a nice
watch
way
the
to
evening
put
news
it.
for about 5 years, and then you could watch this.
Watch Berserker several times over.
Yeah.
Usually,
Or
fans are traumatized, self-hating people. I can tell
what
about
what
that.
what about
It's
Goblin
like a
Slayer?
club.
Is Goblin Slayer in the same league?
No, I mean, think about it. Berserker is something that this guy's best friend kills all of his friends, breaks the mind of his girlfriend to make a kingdom. So like, they're all offerings, and then this guy lives in constant hatred and survival, hunting down his best friend because he wants to kill him for all the fucking brutal things that he did. So it's kind of like that kind of despair kind of thing is that hero creates. If you think about it,
So having successfully used his robot murder death powers to bring down an airplane, Shishigami goes, well, this is a quick way to kill 1,000 people a day, so I'll just pull a whole bunch of other planes down. And strangely, at the same time, Mari, the daughter of Inuyashiki, is visiting the local government offices, and they're up at the viewing tower, and one of these planes that he's pulled down crashes into the building below them, and they're trapped, which is not much fun for Mari and all the other people in the building, but we do know that Mari is trapped up there. About that time, Inuyashiki decides he wants to save the planes, so he starts trying to control them and to crash land them somewhat more safely, and he manages to do that with a fair few of them, crash them into the harbour, landing them on the water rather than them smashing into buildings and where all the other people are at. And when he finishes doing that, he discovers that Shishigami is standing right there next to him in the park. It's like, well, shit. And they're face to face for the first time, and they realize that they were both in the park when they were hit by the mysterious explosion, except that Inuyashiki has become a hero, while Shishigami sees himself as a villain. Shishigami attacks Inuyashiki, but they are evenly matched, and while Inuyashiki tries to reach his daughter, they battle with all the comprehensive internal weaponry systems available to them. So this is the big good guy, bad guy fight scene, which was pretty damn awesome, I got to say, flying through the city, blasting away at each other. Eventually, Inuyashiki manages to damage Shishigami, and they both fall to the ground. Inuyashiki recovers, reaches Mari's lifeless body, and desperately tries to save her. He finally manages to resurrect her, then goes to save others killed by Shishigami's attack on the city and their subsequent battle. Meanwhile, two young women find and help severely damaged body of Shishigami in a laneway. So,
oh man, that scene, man, he got me on the edge of my seat. I was like, "Don't give him water, don't,"
because water is his power source.
I was like, "No!" I didn't almost screaming at the TV when that happened, man.
Now, while during the lead up to this massive battle between two alien combat robots across Tokyo, there were these news reports of a killer asteroid approaching Earth, and there was actually a really funny joke about which ex-president is it now? Trump.
Donald Trump saying, yes, man.
Screw you guys! I'm going to the moon.
I was laughing my ass off, and they impersonating him so perfectly. You know, like when I saw, like, oh my god, that's our president.
It was the best joke in the entire thing. One of the few jokes.
I think that one of the best in the entire history of anime, if you think about it.
It was really good.
It was so funny, really, man.
So basically, all this shit's going down, and the Earth is in imminent threat of being, an extinction level event from an asteroid. So, it's bad enough to have a couple of alien combat robots wrecking up the city of Tokyo, but then you've got this asteroid heading under the planet, and it's going to blow the place up.
Yep. And
Inuyashiki decides that he's got to do something to save the world because, I'm a hero. I got to do this sort of shit. So he actually drinks a whole bunch of water and then flies up to the asteroid. And while he's doing that, Shishigami goes to visit his friend Naoki, just wants to hang out like before. But Naoki is like, I can't hang around with you. But they're all sort of getting ready to die because this meteor is going to hit the Earth and kill it. But Inuyashiki flies up to destroy the meteor, but he can't do it. He hasn't got enough firepower to actually stop this meteor. But then Shishigami appears, revealing that the mechanical body has a self-destruct button, and asks Inuyashiki to push it because he no longer has arms because he lost them in the battle against Inuyashiki. And he says that there are also people on Earth that he wants to save, such as Naoki and Shion, his best childhood friend, and the girl that likes him. So Inuyashiki informs Naoki of this, that's Endo, making Naoki cry. Inuyashiki helps Shishigami self-destruct, but it isn't enough, so he also self-detonates to complete the task of destroying the asteroid. Following these events, Inuyashiki's son learns to fend off the bullies, and Mari's manga is selected for publication. So they lost their father. Well, they'd lost their father some months before that, but
Yeah.
they lost the simulacrum of their father, and they both became heroes in a way, but one was the real hero and one was a poser.
Yes, yes. I think that that was one of the hypocritical things about Hero that bugged me more at the end too. Is that he think that he had any kind of redemption waiting for him.
Well, I don't know that he thought he had a redemption. It's just that he only cared about a few people, but he really cared about them. Like he wanted them to survive. So he would have to end up saving the world so that they could survive.
Do you think that he really did care about them, or he just did care about his feelings for them? When you think about how psychotic he is.
Well, it's hard to say because he wasn't a human anymore. So, I mean, maybe he wasn't too concerned about his own death because he was already dead. And this was just an echo of himself.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, no, I mean, he just rubs me off the wrong way every time, man. With his creepy ass face, man.
You're allowed not to like him. I give you permission.
There's nothing to like about
You're
that
right.
freak. He's a total freak, man.
Let me just say that in the second Crunchyroll Anime Awards in 2018, Inuyashiki was nominated for Best CGI for the character of Hiro Shishigami. Oh, and the character of Hiro Shishigami was nominated for Villain of the Year. So there you go. He was the Villain of the Year.
I will tell you. I will tell you something. The creation of his character was very well done. I realize how well a villain can be made when I watch Game of Thrones. When King Joffrey and how horrible he is with everybody, that people hated his character, and I realized at that moment, if you're an actor or a content creator, you create a character that earns the genuine dislike and hatred of the audience, you did a good job.
Characters that people love to hate.
With me sympathy, man.
That's a shout out to Robert.
I cannot imagine. We probably wouldn't be able. We would have to make another pause like we did for winter for Robert if he watches this.
Well, I don't know that he could manage to watch this.
No, I don't think so. I mean, think about it. He was nice enough to try to watch Demon Slayer, which I didn't think it was that bad, and he told me that he couldn't watch it.
Oh dear.
But it's a thing. I think that anime and Japanese content desensitize me because they overdo it with playing touching the nerve of going ultra dramatic on things.
It's true.
With the little piano song, and it gets so tragic all the time. You know, they always do that shit, and I think that
It's
has
like,
helped desensitize me.
but that's one of the things I like about it. I like getting all teary eyed about things that happen in stories, and with anime, it happens regularly.
Regularly and exaggeratedly.
Oh, I mean, you got to feel something. It's much like these guys, trying to feel human.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you get desensitized, you don't feel anything. And basically, that's what happened to these two. They were being desensitized by being turned into robots, copies of themselves.
Whoa, you can tell that in one charity was look at Hero. Look at Inuyashiki. He was a robot, but he just became the more humane and empathetic, and he put his power to good use.
But that's what Ando said. Inuyashiki said to him, "But I'm not human." And Ando said to him, "I've seen what you've done, and you're more human than anybody else I know."
Yep, it's true.
Which is the same line was used in Alita Battle Angel, which is interesting.
Bring those sequels.
Yeah, bring on those sequels. Hashtag Alita sequels. So you don't think that there was a redemption arc at all for Shishigami? He was just an unredeemable son of a bitch.
I think so too. I do think that. I mean, I think that uh, it's just unfair to think that he can just wipe clean or make up for things. I always seen life on a way that we have to be responsible with our choices and the bad that we can do to other people, because there's actions that are have irreparable consequences, and many people try to be many people don't want to deal with uncomfortable thoughts. That's common practice. So the reality to me is that the bad things that you do in the past cannot be countered with good deeds. Life itself should be lived trying to do good to others. When you do something bad, even if you do something good, that doesn't bring back somebody that dies because of that, or somebody that gets their life changed or tarnished or scarred because of that, you know? So that's why I don't think that he has any kind of redemption. I mean, he did monstrous things that probably shattered lots of people's life. He should have probably been in the Yakuza meeting. Or he should probably he should have been the one in the sauna with the big dude.
Oh god,
That's it, bro.
you had to bring that up, didn't you?
Hell yeah! Now people have to go and watch it, Yashiki, and
What
look.
was that? It was the third episode.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now you have to go and look for that sauna scene, so you know what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna give you guys
I
a
mean,
hint. Guac Guac 3000.
how how quickly can you show that a guy is a complete scumbag? About that quickly.
Oh no, yeah, bro. This guy is like a whole new level. It's like if you think Hero's bad, this guy makes you even hate somebody more.
The fact that he didn't get to hang around as long is probably his only saving grace.
Yep, definitely. Well, the good thing is that they didn't kill him, right?
I know.
I felt bad that that Yashiki didn't actually shut his dick off.
Hmm.
Should have.
Oh, but he was a quadriplegic, so it wasn't going to do him any good.
No, I know, but
After
like
that.
just to know that somebody actually chopped your dick off makes him more humiliated. I think for him, this guy deserves it, bro. This guy was like the worst.
Yep. Pond Scum had more
Oh my god, yeah.
to represent it than he did. Yeah.
But it was a good series, man.
Oh, totally. I mean, I just thought I'd check it out because it's got these funky looking robots in it. I want to see what the hell's going on. And yeah, like the first episode was like punch, punch, punch. It's like, shit, this guy's having a bad day. Oh, and then he gets obliterated by being crashed into by a UFO.
No, his life is a fucking tragedy.
Yeah, it sure was. And then he's back, and he's a killing monster killing robot. It's like shit.
And it makes you think, like, how fucked up is that all of these things had to happen for Inuyashiki's family to really appreciate who he always was.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's messed up. I mean, not every day you get the chance to get superpowers and become a mecha robot in order to gain your family's love and respect.
but it also like he was going to die anyway. It was a boon for him because he was dead in 3 months. Stomach
Yep,
cancer.
he was gonna get off the hook.
So, I mean, he may have only lived another 6 months or so, but that 6 months he got to do amazing things and help a lot of people, which, I personally think made his life worth living. It was that last 6 months where he was able to be more human than any other time in his life.
No, and I think that besides that, I think that he was able to have an effect on people that did appreciate him without knowing him. I've noticed. I lived this through, and I've seen it on other people too. But sometimes when we lack some kind of relationship in our life, we try to find it with other person. You know, I've seen fathers that they don't have a good relationship with their kids, but they have other friends or like a friend's children that they are like an uncle to, that they try to fulfill that need to provide or be that role in somebody else's life, and vice versa. It changes from different hierarchies within families too, uh, brotherhood, etc. And I think that he got to be that important person for many people with the good things that he
Oh
did.
yeah,
You
oh yeah.
know, just Edo is the name of the friend, Hero's friend.
Endo.
Endo. I think that with Endo and between Endo and him, like he was able to feel like a father because he didn't have that with his kids
Yeah.
ever. You know, so it's kind of wholesome when you look at it from the different perspective. He was able to live his existence and perceive it as fulfilling because he was having a shitty life. And I mean, I would have think that by the end of it, if he would have died, maybe his family would have kind of feel that they fucked up, or they would have just get on with their lives and not care, which would be even just as tragic. That's something, and that's the problem. Like most people always think that they have tomorrow, and they live under that pretense, and tomorrow is never sure. You know.
Yep. I agree. Having had my own medical fund recently, I know what you mean.
I know about that too.
So you would agree, Chaos, that this storyline punched pretty hard. There was some pretty brutal and sort of honest, hard hitting storytelling
Oh
in this.
yes, oh yes, uncensored,
Yeah.
very very uncensored when it comes to the crudeness of some realities. And I think it raises a little bit of consciousness about things that people don't like to think about, but they still happen out there.
So, yeah, so it was pretty raw. Not your cutesy feely sort of anime that you get in a lot of other stories.
Hmm.
I'm watching one at the moment just for shits and giggles called Fluffy Paradise.
Fluffy paradise.
It's an isekai where this woman she dies of overwork
Oh
in,
my
in her
god.
in her late 20s, having
Overwork.
never had a boyfriend or anything like that. And when she's dying, all she thinks of was, I didn't get to pat enough fluffies in my life. So God goes, okay, I need some help working out whether or not I should wipe out the humans in this world, in this other world over here. So I'm going to reincarnate you there, and you can spend 10 years watching them, and then you'll help me decide whether or not they should be wiped out. So she reincarnates, and it starts out when she's 3, and she gets all caught up with the royal family, and they have all these like god beasts and stuff, like this big white tiger, and she becomes friends with it. She becomes friends with this massive dragon that they were going to try and kill, but she says, no, don't shoot the dragon. 3-year-old defending a massive ancient red dragon. It's like, really? But yeah, she makes a lot of fluffy friends and gets to pat lots of fluffies. So it's a bit so why I brought that up is because that's the other end to this anime. That's the cutesy feely, nobody gets hurt, there's no blood, there's none of that sort of stuff. Okay, now this one is down the Akira end. You know what I mean? Chaos, like the Akira end.
Yep.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to our episode about Akira, the 1988 anime movie, which is pretty solid. Now, when we were talking about Akira, I talked about the art style and the way the people were drawn. Now, in a lot of animes, unless there's a need for the Ugo factor to drive the story, everybody looks either they have no face at all or they're really good looking. Not so much in this anime. This anime is much more like Akira as well, in that the art style was somewhat more realistic. And of course, Inuyashiki is a crumpled faced old man at 58. He looks like he's been working out in a building site for most of his life.
He looks frail.
Oh, yeah.
And I find kind of weird, or it's not creepy the word, but it's odd for sure. The way that he moves and like he fights, like he's very like
tries to fight.
Like when he's actually like hugging the big guy to like break his back, the way that his feet are like V shaped and he's just like straightened up, like he's an old person doing tai chi in the park.
Yeah,
his
form was lacking.
And honestly, like it boggles my mind every time that I see him punching. He goes, instead of this, he goes like this.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's never fought before in his life. He's been a salaryman, and a meek one at that.
Yeah, definitely, man.
But it felt really honest in this representation of this old guy who was trying to be a hero and didn't know how to use his new robot murder body at all well. In fact, most of his problems were solved by the automated defense system after he'd been knocked out.
Yep. That's like actually counting on your smartphone to actually do the thinking for you.
Exactly.
But in real life, that doesn't happen.
This is true. But what I wanted to talk about was the art style. It was very reminiscent of Akira in that the robotics were really highly detailed and looked really cool and mechanized, and like the guns that popped out of their arms and the little missile silos in their back and everything. It looked really cool and techie, and it had that sort of machine glitz that I kind of like with anime when everything's drawn really detailed, which was again like Akira.
You know which comparison is stronger than Akira, and it's a classic too. Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah, Ghost in the Shell is much the same.
But actually, when you have the androids like semi-assembled, like half broken up apart, and they had like all these little bits and parts coming off, it kind of remembers me of that too.
Yeah. I mean, there was a fair few sort of cybernetic, sort of cyborgy type animes like that. You also got that sort of art style in Rusty Angel, Alita Battle Angel.
Yes, definitely,
anime.
Definitely.
So that was sort of a 90s thing, which I really appreciated.
Yeah,
and again, you see it here, but it's sort of updated. So this was 2018.
Absolutely. I mean, it actually did remind me when little bitch Ugo actually falls off the bridge, like in pieces. I'm sorry, I just have to hate on Ugo every time I can. He's a vile piece of shit for using a little girl's 300-year-old innocence.
Yeah.
Ugo is bad, bro.
I just wanted to mention the art style in this, that a lot of the animes, it's very hard to get a sense of ethnicity from the way they're drawn. Yep. Everybody kind of looks like big-eyed Europeans, but that's sort of because the anime industry as a whole copied from Disney, from the early Disney with the big eyes. And it developed from there, so it's not exactly the same as it used to be, but it's still reminiscent of that sort of big-eyed drawing sort of style, including, Alita has the big eyes as well.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a standard on animes if you think about it.
It is, but not this one. Nobody had the big eyes. No. Everybody had much smaller eyes.
Realistic.
And much like Akira in 1988, the art style in this was much more realistic. You could tell that they were Asian. It was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of anime styles, they don't draw the nose as much at all. But with this one, everything was represented. And poor old Inuyashiki's face, my God. It was like craters on the moon, basically.
Yep.
He was very much... let's see if I can find a picture of him. If I can get a close-up of his face. Nope. Let's try. It's probably not going to, knowing my luck. There we go. Let's see if this will show.
Here, I'm gonna send
Can you see? Is that showing? Can you see it?
Yep.
So if you have a look at the art style there, he's even got jowls hanging down, and you can see all the creases on his face down through here, and he's got sort of jowls hanging down the side.
I sent you a
Obviously,
picture to
this is.
Discord that is actually you might like better than this one.
Oh, really? Oh, let me check it. Oh, that's the live action one. Yeah.
I need to watch it though.
The story's not nearly as good. Gotta say.
Yeah, you told me, man. I need to watch it just because, but honestly, if you look at the image that you're sharing, actually, it's kind of dazzling to see the intricacy
Yeah.
of the mechanism. And when I look at that, the only thing I can think of is like me as an artist and like drawing. I'm like, I would never be able to bring myself to do something like that, or I will have to do it on such a scale that I could draw the details in normal size. Because that's very, very intricate. Like for an artist,
Oh,
at least for a
definitely.
visual artist, when we look at that, it looks intimidating
For sure.
as
I
a
mean, yeah,
form of art.
there's a lot involved in it. You've got to be a very intricate, and probably takes a long time to draw something like that. So it would slow down the animation process, certainly.
Not only that, but if you look at that and you think it has to make some kind of mechanical anatomical sense, you
Yeah,
know? So when you look at that and you think of it has to make sense, it can you understand even more the fear of its intricacy because you're like, this was not designed stupidly like improvised. This was very planned and designed to the T.
for sure.
And I find interesting, like all over his body, how like those little coils are all over. That gives it more of a steampunkish look to the mechanism that pops out of everywhere in the bodies.
Yeah, definitely. The details in the back are pretty amazing as well. But yeah, that's sort of so. If you wanted to see what this looked like, of course, you can watch Inuyashiki on Prime or Crunchyroll. But
Or you can catch our
uh,
episode 1 month later after the audio on YouTube, what we're sharing
that,
now.
that's the other option. So yeah, but yeah, I totally agree with you. It looks daunting to attempt to make something like that.
Have you ever heard of a book called The Infinite Yeast by David Foster Wallace?
No, I haven't.
It's a book that everybody that starts reading it never finishes. It has more than 1,000 pages. And I would say
Wow.
that in writing perspective, that's what you would feel like if you see something like that. It's a book full of like bunch of short stories that have nothing to do one with the other, just to make it worse. It's called The Infinite Yeast.
Infinite yeast.
Yeah, there's a joke for all the writers. I really like that writer. He's not alive anymore. He was a postmodernist and a teacher at university. Very nice guy, and basically there's a joke online about everybody that likes his writing because nobody finishes the book.
That's pretty cool. Oh, I was just going to mention that the song that
Oh, I love it, man. The
is
song,
the
the soundtrack.
opening. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. There was some details of it here
I
somewhere.
love the soundtrack and the opening and at the closing. Actually, it's a very nice song. Actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, the opening song's called My Hero, and it's performed by Japanese rock band Man with a Mission.
Hit me on the ground. Hit me on the ground.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I really feel like they went all out to, the artwork suited the story. It was brutal where it needed to be, but it was also very emotional at other times. Um, certainly not a sort of show that I'd expect somebody with delicate sensibilities to be able to get through. Robert, but if you're more like Chaos and myself, who've been around the block a few times and can handle a few punches, then you might want to check this out. As I said, it's on Amazon Prime Video
Crunchyroll.
and also Crunchyroll. It is subbed, so you've got to read a good story. You can't actually get a dub of it because it's one of those shows that probably wasn't going to see enough viewership that they thought it was worth paying to dub it. But even so, it is a really good story. From the very beginning, it starts to hit you in the feels.
Yeah.
And it's a roller coaster after that. It never slows down.
Oh no, no, it doesn't.
Even the scenes where the friend Ando, who's been bullied at school by a bunch of much bigger kids, and has decided he's going to be a NEET and he's going to stay home and hide in his bed. When the now I am a alien murder bot hero shows up and tries to get him to come back to school, and he's just sitting there reading manga and say, "Hey, you want to read this?" And so forth. So, you're going to come back to school? No, I'm going to stay home. I don't want to. He says, "You've been bullied, haven't you?" Yeah. Who was it? Tell me who it was. I'll kill them for you. You're going to what? Oh, didn't I mention I'm an alien death robot? I'll kill them for you. He says, I don't want you to do that. Does it anyway.
But that's the problem with Hero. He's a self-indulging asshole. He doesn't even want his friend to come back to school because it's good for him, for Endo.
Yeah.
He just wants it to come back because it's boring without him.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck, man?
Very much self-centered.
Yeah. It's like, I'm trying to help you. And I mean, sometimes you help people and it's good because you still help somebody. But sometimes intention counts afterwards, And this is one of those cases.
Totally. And of course, that's what makes the end when he commits suicide to save the world from the meteor. Because there's a couple of people there that he doesn't want to see killed. It kind of sounds like he's being a hero, but not really. Again, it's because that's what he wants. It's not
heroes. Inuyashiki is the only hero here.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, after all the atrocities that he did, man, after drowning that kid on a bathtub, man, there's no walking back from that.
Yeah, episode 2 is harsh.
And honestly, it left me thinking, like, what was harder, that he didn't really shoot the kid and kill him, or that he let him drown?
But then that conversation he had with the daughter who came home, and cutting her hand and letting it bleed, and while he's talking about manga, it's like, oh, you are such an irredeemable scumbag.
Yes.
And the fact that to pick a house to go and murder everybody in, he puts his hand over his eyes and goes, da 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 da. Just reminded me of like the Joker. It reminded me of Heath Ledger's Joker, actually. Just a complete nutball murder hobo scumbag.
Oh my god!
I mean, a lot of the best stories that give you the best feelings about the result come from stories where there's really, really bad people doing really, really horrible things, and you feel for the people and you want them to be stopped, and that gets you invested in the story. And this is one of those.
I'll tell you something. I think it's funny that you made a comparison with Heath Ledger. I don't think that the Joker was such a bad character compared to Hero.
Really?
Yeah, there was a motive behind him, and I mean, the Joker antagonized the law, but it's not like he was going and brutalizing little kids and shit like that. It's straightforward, head on.
Well, if the Joker was done as an anime, maybe he would.
Yeah.
Anyway, but if you're looking for a really bad guy and a really nice old man who turns into a murder death robot who doesn't murder people, check out
Let me
Inuyashiki
put it this
Last
way:
Hero.
if you hate King Joffrey from Game of Thrones and you need somebody that tops it off a notch, can come watching the Yashiki.
Just one notch.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, like in the history of watching things, one of my most pleasurable moments is when he dies choking on his own blood. King Joffrey. I was like, wow, they did a good job with this kid. He's a good actor. Hero, the creation of that character, it's just the same. I actually felt like I needed more, that he didn't suffer more. Like when he was broken apart and shit, like he couldn't feel the pain apparently. It sucked that he didn't feel that pain. And I mean, and going back to like how well done is like the animation and the design on everything, they went as far that even like the way that Inuyashiki gets shot and he like contours, like I've seen people getting shot like that in real life in videos and like news. It like they did their research to make sure it looks so real that it even brings that PTSD of you watching something that it could be real. It looks like that. That's how brutally to the T well done it was.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a well-made anime, well animated, great music, really hard-hitting story,
Well
some great
written.
sci-fi in it, and some great feels as well. And bad guy you love to hate.
And a lot of bang.
Yeah, bang, 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 bang. Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I watched this, I remember all the times I used to run around as a kid playing war and
Yes,
armies, going bang, 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 bang.
yes. Makes you regret. You're
And
like,
I'm thinking to myself, Jesus, I feel bad.
what did I do?
Yep, yep, right there with you. Yep.
Oh man, that was a great
So,
comparison.
so do you have any last thoughts about this one, Chaos?
Well, this is one of those that I probably gonna rewatch again. Um, I think that there's a lack of ultra violence in the anime genre, and but I think that also is even though it's not for everybody to watch, I don't think that it's an easy thing to do. I definitely suggested somebody that is looking for something a little bit on the edge, to get you on the edge. This will do it, uh, but it's not for everybody. It is a word of warning too. If
Yeah,
you're an empathetic person or a person that cannot deal with gruesome shit, don't go and watch it. Don't. Uh, I think it's beautifully done. I really like overall the design of it, the writing, the characters. Again, I hate Hero, so I think he did a good job putting a bad guy there. And I think it raises a lot of questions and social issues that we don't like to deal with. And that doesn't make them go away, anyways. You
yeah,
know. But I really like
exactly.
this one, to be honest, and the design of the cyberpunkish kind of look-alike armors. I liked it because it's very original. If you think about it, it's kind of cyberpunk, but it's not biotechnology. If you think of some way to put it, it's unique on its own way. So it gives you also a feel of something that you haven't seen before.
Yeah, I was really surprised. It was something that in its combination I hadn't seen before, so that's why it really stuck with me. And when I thought we weren't going to record this because of
It would
Robert's
be a
obvious
shame, man, not to record
aversion,
this.
exactly.
It would be a
So
shame.
that's why this is the first ever science fiction remnant without a Robert, because
Yep, this is what
uh,
happened, Robert. Because you're a softie, we'll
yeah,
kick you out of the club.
couldn't hack it.
We're gonna take away your car, man. We're gonna take it
Oh,
away.
that's harsh. Don't do that. We
we
need
got
him around for the
we're
softy
gonna
sci-fi.
traumatize him, man. I actually told you when you were recovering, I recorded it, that I'm gonna make him watch things that he cannot watch, and I'm gonna do some kind of orange clockwork on him. I'm gonna keep
Oh
his eyes like
God.
that, and just like
Oh,
the
dear.
problem is that when he sees ultra violence, he's just gonna go like the guy in orange clockwork and go like.
Oh, dear. Yeah, Clockwork Orange was pretty rough too, as I remember.
That's one that we have to cover, actually.
Yeah. Well, but I
And
don't
it's
know that
funny.
Robert could handle it.
I think that that's what I'm telling you, bro. Motherfucker is speaky. I think that
Oh,
he's
okay.
watching. I think that he's watched that one. And he liked it. And I mean, I think that Orange Clockwork is one of those movies that they even put, like, when you're studying in the university for filmmaking or writing, they actually make you watch it as part of the homeworks, because
Yeah.
that is one of those things, just like Matrix and big movies that revolutionize filmmaking and the whole industry, how things are made.
Well, we better put it on that ever-growing list, unless it's already there.
It's there.
It
I
is
put
there.
it.
Okay. Well, I'll have to push it up near the top sometime soon. Well, my final thoughts on this show, I've probably covered most of them already, but I would recommend that you wait until you're 18 plus before you watch
Yes.
this, because there will be possibly, if you're a younger viewer, some hard moments which you will have trouble processing. Killing of innocents is pretty full on in this, and there's nothing hidden behind pixelations or anything like that. It's all out in the open. So it will be hard on those that aren't necessarily good at slasher movies and things like that.
Mhm.
If you can handle horror, you can handle this. But if you're of a delicate disposition, I don't recommend it for you. But if you can handle a bit of rough, bloody stuff, then this could be right up your alley, especially if you're big on the old cyberpunk and the beauty of really well designed and executed alien technologies.
Yep.
As we were saying, the gun arms and the missile sections in the back and the jet engines and everything, the way they were drawn and displayed was just beautiful. It's one of the things I really appreciated about this. But it's one of those shows that, although it's got some very rough bits, it all comes together into a polished product that was a really good story. Didn't pull any punches and leaves you satisfied at the end because it ends. The two main characters are gone at the end, but they've saved the world. So, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that, really.
That's true. And that you mentioned cyberpunk, and I did mention it too. The funny thing is it really cyberpunk? Because it doesn't have like the big buildings and the neon lights.
It does have the big buildings. They crash planes into them.
Well, yeah, it has the buildings that are in Japan already, you know? But like that's one thing that cyberpunk goes across the board that they didn't do here, which is fine. I think that one of the tasteful things about it is making it look like a real life world kind of helps be more immersive when it comes to the story,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know? So I'm not like I'm complaining either. I actually,
And
it's one of the things that I like.
the fact that they're not all happy families and everything's fine and June dandy and
Real
there's
life.
a lot of messed up people in this show. So I'm hoping that there aren't too many people who can relate to Hero, but you may relate to some of the other characters.
Yeah, definitely.
So highly recommended if you're over 18 and not squeamish. And we'll leave it at that, Robert. Shall we go on to the last segment?
Yes, let's go for it.
Well, we don't have any of the fancy interludes or anything like that, but science and science fiction for this one's a little bit tricky because it's basically real world plus murder, death, hobo, space robots. So there isn't really is technology going in this direction, because the technology came from outer space. It's non-human technology. It looks really cool, but it really has nothing to do with our current technological stream, in that we're not working on these things because they came from outer space. So I don't really know that we can discuss technology per se.
No, we can. I
But
think that we can only do but hypothesize about it. Really, to be honest,
yeah, I
because it's.
mean, we were in our pre-show. We were sitting here trying to work out how it all might work.
Mhm.
Obviously, with the fact that they needed to drink water and they basically couldn't eat food anymore, they were basically using water as a fuel source. And every time they went into combat, they got really thirsty and had to drink afterwards. I'm
This
presuming
show is
it's
great to actually remember people that it's good to stay hydrated.
that's right. Don't give him to drink. Don't let him drink water. Yeah, the two murder death hobo robots in this were probably hydrogen fuel cell powered in some fashion. Obviously, not the hydrogen fuel cells that we have on Earth today, but some sort of futuristic version, which is much more energy efficient and can
Oh
create
yeah.
a lot more energy. I mean, if they can fly a human weighted robot from the surface of the Earth up into space, and with the small amount of fuel, i.e. water that they used, then obviously it's
And not
hugely
freezing.
efficient. Exactly. Hugely efficient. Um, and it only takes two of them to destroy an Earth-killing asteroid. So keep that in mind. We may need it at some point.
Yep. It looked like a bigger asteroid than the one in Armageddon.
Yeah?
It looked like a bigger asteroid than the one in Armageddon, right?
I don't know. I haven't sat down and measured them, but you could be right. I mean, it was a two murder death robot sized asteroid to destroy it.
Yes. And I mean, it makes me think maybe the wireless technology that they had to control devices and things and understand technology at a counterintuitive measurement might be quantum technology, some kind of quantum machinery. Because when you look at the quantum machines, they look very like ancient looking, like with coils and little tubes and things. So it might actually be some kind of quantum machinery. Because let me see if I can find a quantum computer image.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were able to take over any computer system at will,
Yes.
hack into any accounts, take over any broadcast systems, any screens that they wanted to.
Let's see.
So it had some sort of unparalleled hacking power.
Yeah, this looks like Inuyashiki's guts for sure. Let me show you. Where is it?
Oh, yeah, it kind of looks like that, didn't it?
It's a quantum computer, you know. So when if you think about it and you look at the capabilities that they have and you see that computing and quantum technology is just in its infancy right now, and it's capable of so much already. Imagine a perfected version of that.
Yeah,
You know, it might be that with a combination of nanobots for sure. I don't find any other way that it could externally affect another living form to the point that it could heal them. So I will venture to do a wild guess that it could be related to quantum machinery, but since this is just in the cradle, we cannot really do more than hypothesize at this point.
yeah, yeah. So obviously, scanning systems and mapping systems and all the sort of stuff that Inuyashiki was showing when he was trying to save people. He's flying around trying to save people. Were internal, so you could see that there were systems in there that were enabled it to do that. But things like when Hero took over the control of the vehicles and crashed them into each other at the intersection to show his power to Ando. Um, I'm not entirely sure how that would have functioned because, I mean, I don't know if all cars in Japan at that point had automated driving technologies in them that he could have taken over. I'm sure a few of them were probably still just manual, turn the wheel and the car moves kind of deal. So I'm not entirely sure how he managed to do that. It was almost like
kinetic energy.
yeah, some sort of kinetic power.
It could be that, but think about it. Cars up to like maybe 1980s and up, they do have some kind of computer, even though it's not a computer that inflicts on the self-driving. Yeah, it's a reading system that actually gives you most of what's going on in the vehicle, and it keeps record of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that a combination of that with some kind of kinetic power would do. But I think that that would be instrumental too to for Inuyashiki or Hero to gain some kind of understanding of the vehicle to be able to affect it. Maybe it wouldn't be possible. It would still be possible if it's like a motorcycle or something, but we didn't see that happening. But or a classic car, like conspiracy theory and like people that don't like modern things, they keep their old 1950s cars because it doesn't have a computer. So if an EMP goes off, the car's still gonna turn on.
Yeah, certainly self-driving cars and things like Teslas and stuff that have got a lot of electronics, I could see them being to hack into that and overtake them very quickly. But yeah, the more manual the vehicle, the harder it would be to take it over.
I mean, for God's sakes, we already have headlines in the news of if you don't pay your car lease or monthly payment, your vehicle eventually would self-drive itself to the repo center. There's news about that shit, man. Not from Tesla,
That's
but like
funny.
there's like Ford Motor Companies and Chevy cars that have self-driving. They start like malfunctioning, and then after several months, your car's just not in your driveway. You just drove itself to the freaking repo center. Oh, that's pretty
funny.
cool. Yes.
So that's a 3D render of Inuyashiki with all his bits popping out.
Holy
And when I say bits
crap.
popping out, I mean his back open, showing the jet engines and the laser tubes, the indirect fire laser weaponry that he's got buried in his back, and also the guns in both of his arms, and some rocket pods on the sides as well here. So
Yep.
lots of cool technology inside of that murder death hobo robot killer.
Yep. They had to work better on the display system because I mean he got so many T-shirts.
Yeah. His shirts really suffered in the end. He started taking them off before he decided to
I
fly
think
anywhere.
not even Hulk had these problems.
No.
That looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, I quite like that one.
Hey,
So
it's kind of messed up that our background image kind of goes along with the ending of the series.
it does. It does. We need some more murder robots to deal with all the other ones, because there's a lot of them there. Oh dear. Yeah. So we were having a discussion before we started recording about how would the remote gun system work that Hero uses to kill people through their screens. When he's and I don't think I mentioned this in my plot summary, but when his mother commits suicide because of the pressure that everybody's putting on her because her son's a mass murderer, he gets really annoyed with all the people on the chat boards who were ragging on her, and decides he's going to kill them all. So he looks them all up. He hacks their computers and gets onto their computer screens and kills them through the screen. It's sort of very sort of poltergeisty, sort of getting to the realm of supernatural horror kind of deal. We were trying to work out how this would actually work. Now, when he kills all those people in the outdoors from the big screens mounted up on the walled building, if he'd been through that area before, he could have left nanites in the air, and then they could be doing the work of him shooting at them. But these people who he'd never visited and never been to their houses, and he was killing them through their screens with no visible connection between him and them beyond beyond an electronic image of him on the screen. I'm really struggling to find a methodology where
I have something figured out for it though.
Hmm?
I think just like when Inuyashiki grabs the phone, calls the gang guy from Yakuza, and he knows where he is. I think that once they touch some kind of technology, it has to do with some kind of entanglement technology, which is quantum. And I mean the way that they make Inuyashiki and Hiro assimilate the technology around them is kind of cognitive. So if he touches the phone and he calls you, he can feel where that signal is ending, wherever it is. Putting that together with some kind of quantum technology and entanglement, he doesn't really have to run it through his mind. He just pops in whatever it is, and he's kind of in that place, not physically.
So he's quantum teleporting whatever that thing is that blows holes in people.
I think so. It's plausible, right?
That's pretty fucked up.
It is. It is scary.
You are not safe anywhere.
No, you're not. I mean, when you think about the self entanglement in quantum physics, it doesn't matter how far or close it is. They
Yeah.
are. It's A and B, and it's always there. So he's creating like that kind of like portal to just know where it is, and he can throw his bomb over there. I guess it's fucked up. There's no escape.
So when the alien said to the other alien, "Stop! That will destroy the planet," he wasn't kidding.
He wasn't.
But in the end, they saved the planet. So there you go.
Yeah.
Subvert expectations.
Who knows if actually the aliens put that there to kind of clean up their own mess.
Maybe. Quite possible.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's sort of covering the technology in the movie, but of course, because it's all alien technology, we have no understanding of how it would probably work. We're all just spitballing here. But I like your quantum entanglement theory for remote murderation. I think that's the only way it can work.
Definitely.
Oh dear. So thanks everybody for joining us for this episode of Science Fiction Remnants sans Delicate Robert, because we don't want anything horrible to happen to Delicate Robert. We gotta look after him. But of course, if you're tough enough to handle this, then you can come and join us on our Discord, because you'll be tough enough to handle that as well. And we'd love to see you on our Discord. You could hang out there with us and discuss this one and any other IP that you find interesting. I've just popped up now come on, hurry up. There it goes. There's a link there for the video watchers that they can just scan and join our Discord, or there's a Discord join link in the description of the podcast and below this video broadcast as well. So you can catch us on Discord there. We have so many rooms in that Discord for many different topics to do with sci-fi. You're bound to find one that you're interested in, be it artwork, which sci-fi artwork, which Giancarlo often posts in, AI, where we've got some AI bots there you can chat with from various IPs. There's stuff about aliens, predators. We might even have a Babylon 5 one there one day. Who knows? We might one day get Robert to watch Babylon 5, and then we could have a Babylon 5 one as well. But do come and join us on our Discord. We'd love to have you. There's also various other things going on there, like is it a 6th ed now D&D game?
Yeah.
Is it 6th ed? I think they're up to 6th ed now. I haven't played D&D in forever. But
I think we are right now like 6 people.
Yeah.
And we do it Saturdays at 3 p.m. EST.
semi-regular because the GM can't always show up.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of fun being had there too. There's all sorts of channels about different game consoles and gaming. So yeah, you could join us on there and have a chat. Tell us what your favorite IP is. If we haven't covered it, we may slip it into our ever increasing list of properties that we want to cover. And you two could come on and join us and talk about your favorite story, your favorite IP, your favorite sci-fi epic. So do consider that. We'd love to have you on. And if you could join us, that would be great, because it's always great to get other sci-fi fans' opinions. Of course, we didn't get Robert's opinions this week, but maybe one day he'll be tough enough.
We're protecting his emotional state.
That's right. He's a softie. We've got to look after him. Captain Marshmallow.
Robert Madden.
So you could also check out our website. There's a link for it there. It will also be in the show notes for the the drama. Oh, you're a funny boy. You're a funny boy. You could join our. You could check out our website. On the website, you'll find our latest release podcast and our back catalogue. You can also see articles written by Robert or Giancarlo, and some guest articles all about the future of science fiction and what's happening with technology at the moment. So do check out our website. In fact, we've got two websites. We've got that website, which is the main Science Fiction Remnant website, and there's also now my brain's gone blank.
This is Sci-Fi Network.
Yeah, this is sci-fi.net. Yes. Thank you. So you can check out that one as well. That's a budding website. It's going to have more content on it in the future to support the This Is Sci-Fi hashtag and get everybody all excited about different IPs. So check that one out as well. If you're at all interested, you could become a Patreon of the show. There's the link there. It's not free to put the show on. Robert is fielding most of the cost of it at the moment, and we'd like to help him out with the cost of the show. So if you could do that, that would be terrific. If a regular payment to Patreon's a bit too much for you, there's always the option of buy me a coffee to support Science Fiction Remnant. I know that poor Giancarlo was up very early for him this morning, and he couldn't find any coffee. So if you could buy him a coffee, he'd probably be a very happy boy.
You know I love this thing because I am here without coffee.
But thank you, listeners, for joining us, and thank you, viewers, a month later for joining us on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't heard already, if we can manage to scrape together 10,000 YouTube subs, something special is going to happen. What is that special thing that's going to happen, Chaos?
We're going to make a poll, and maybe you guys get to decide what tattoo I'm going to make that is sci-fi related.
And where are you going to put that tattoo?
In my ass cheek. Therefore, we have the hashtag 10K ass tattoo.
So if you can spare us a sub on YouTube, that'd be great. And we'll see if we can crack it for 10,000. And then you too can decide what's going to be artistic on a butt cheek of chaos.
And with that, we live with a bang. Bang, 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 bang.
Bang, 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 bang. You can also leave us a message at 1305-563-6334. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll play those on a future episode if you leave us a message there. But thank you so much for joining us. We had an interesting time with this one. Robert didn't, but he'll be back for the next one because it'll be a bit softer, and we can't leave him out for too long. He'll get all upset and go and sulk somewhere. So we don't want that to happen. So Robert will be back with us next time, and we hope you join us then for Science Fiction Remnant. Thanks very much, and bye for now.
Bang.
Oh, God.